Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I am doing a other hashtag. This one is created by the beautiful Katey Flowers, and it is called hashtag only 10 decks. So if I could only, and this is painful to say, if I could only keep 10 decks, which ones would it be? So, just a little disclaimer, these are not in any particular order of importance or love or favorite or anything like that. Just, I mean, all of them are important to me and more, but I'm trying to stick within the rules. Okay, so one of them is the Spirit Keepers Tarot, the Revelations. I am doing a deep study with my sister. I love this deck so much. It speaks to me in a different way. It doesn't speak to me like through the meanings per se, but like through symbolism and synchronicities. And yeah, I mean, at least that's what I have discovered thus far. And I'm just starting my journey with this particular deck. So, and I know we're not necessarily supposed to be doing newer decks, but I could not put this deck in here. I mean, I've worked with it since I've got it. I've hardly put it down. It's been next to me and reading in the book and all that. So, but one of the things that I love also about this deck is it feels like a tarot and an oracle deck, because you get your I Ching. So I have been using it like a tarot and oracle and making spreads so that there is an even amount of cards so that I can also get bigger messages in the I Ching as well, and that layering, and then even using numerology on top of that. It's funny, but so this deck, oh my goodness. I love this deck so much. I love the book of maps that comes with it. All of the history and the lore and mythology, and with so many different cultures that are included in this deck. Yeah, I mean, it is like a truth seekers and history seekers or knowledge seekers, like dream. Okay, I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to. But anyway, so definitely the Spirit Keepers and the Vitruvian, or I'm sorry, the Revelations edition. Definitely. Okay, so another one. And I will tell you, some of this was easier than, you know, some of them were easier. They were like no-brainers. But then there were other ones that were like, I really had to think about my collection, because I have a substantial collection. I don't even know how many I have. I haven't counted them in a while, so I'm going to have to do that pretty soon too. So another one is the Lightseer's Tarot. And another reason I did pick some of these, as you're going to see, is because I cannot easily replace them. Not just that I love them so much, which I do, but I could not easily replace them. And so some that you might have thought that I would have chose, I didn't, because of that reason. So, because if something were to happen, because life is always changing, maybe a month later I could get that deck again, whereas I could not get this one again. So definitely my Lightseers, the indie version. Oh my gosh, this cardstock is just dreamy. The colors are vibrant. Oh my gosh, this deck just speaks to me. And I'm sure you guys, most of you knew that this was going to be in this. I was crushing hard, or in the honeymoon phase. And although I'm not in the honeymoon phase with it anymore, it's like a best friend that just knows me so well, and that I know so well. And when I think of, you know, cards this, because I did not learn to read with this deck. However, when I think of other decks that I'm using, especially when I'm brand new to that deck, I refer back to these images. I think of these images. So I kind of was spoiled by this deck. This is what is like burned in my psyche, you know, because it just clicked for me. So yeah, definitely. And I think you will find with some of my decks, not all of them, but the majority of them, another reason why I don't want to part with them also is because of the guidebooks. We need to do a hashtag on what 10 guidebooks or 10 tarot books can you not live without, right? Because I love a good guidebook. That is like not a deal breaker, but it certainly can sway me, even if I'm not huge on the aesthetics of the deck. If I know it has a killer guidebook, yeah, I mean, I can buy something just because of that, because I use my decks also like they are books. They're learning tools, not just for connection with my higher self, but learning. Sometimes with the different themed decks, I'm learning something that I had never even, you know, ventured in that area before. And I know that I can read a book, but it's easier for me to remember if I have flashcards. Just being honest. The older I get, flashcards really help. Being able to use it daily and then be reminded of what I read about it. So the Light Seers. Another one, while we're sticking with Chris Ann, the Sacred Creators Oracle. Another meaty guidebook that is just so good. I swear, Chris Ann speaks to, I mean, her writing just speaks to me. I mean, it's like she reached into my soul and she put my thoughts in a book, right? And I know that's not what she did, but that's what it feels like. So I love this Oracle deck so much. And I've got some of them upside down. These are so beautiful, so simple. But then you open up the Oracle and it gets so deep in each card with practical advice and activities that you can do going forward, or just a really higher perspective. I feel like after using this Oracle deck that I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been brought to tears just because it just resonates so hard. And I feel like I've just raised my vibration because of it, you know? Do you see? As if the words were not profound enough. Overrate your intuition. Hell yes. Fall in love with your own story. Nourish the sacred feminine. This really does feel like a hug deck too. It really does. And you know what? I need hug decks. So, and I'm okay with that. All right, so there's that. Especially after the last 2 years, I definitely need friggin' hug decks. All right, so another one is, let me grab it here, the Bone Stone and Earth Flesh. Let me see if I can maybe get this. There we go. I love this deck so much. I love the book so much. Oh my gosh. You know, I had no idea until I got the book. The deck, I already knew I loved the images. I mean, I had been dreaming over getting this deck in my hands for a couple of years. I had not been one of them to get it, you know, right when they started it. I found out 2.5 years ago or so. And I immediately got on the waiting list, and I hoped and I hoped, and I put good visualizations out there, and I paid attention as closely as I could so that I could get this when it came out, because the artwork not only speaks volumes, the colors are amazing. It's like the stuff just comes off of the images, the people, they come off of the deck, you know, they come to life. But then we get into the guidebook. And the guidebook is so phenomenal. I used this deck for my last year, you know, going through like my monthly wheel of the year. So this is my year ahead spread. So this book has been like a true friend to me, giving me so much guidance and peace, and sometimes hard truths that I didn't want to see, but the stories were always, I was never bored reading this book. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I love this deck so much. I would be so upset if I could not refer to this. I mean, sometimes I will be using another deck and I go back to that guidebook because I love her writing so much and her stories, and they're so relatable and just right up my alley. Okay, so what else? This one does not come with a guidebook, sadly. But, oh my gosh, the artwork. I love the Dark Mansions. Now, my deck was the first run, and it's not the rose petal. It's not the deluxe. There was no way I could do the deluxe. It was too big. I loved the backs, but I love this cardstock. Now, Summer got the second run, I believe, of this deck. And she said that it is different cardstock. And she likes mine better because hers was like a velvety or rose petal, and it kind of sticks together a little bit. But I think the more and more you use it, it will loosen up. But I love this deck. I love the colors. I love the feeling that I get from this deck. I feel like I'm stepping back into Victorian times, which I love. I love the artwork so much. Yeah, there's nothing that I don't love about this deck other than the fact that it doesn't come with a really, really good, or for that matter, any guidebook. So, yeah, I love the Dark Mansions. What else? Tarot of the She. Some of these you guys probably had already figured out if you've been watching my channel for a while. This is another one. I modified this one, which I love way better now that I modified it. It's so much better. I love the messages that come from this deck. This is another very synchronistic deck for me. This is like, I feel like I'm stepping into the Fae world. And this, as a matter of fact, the Great Glyph is a portal to the other world, to the Fae realm. And I tell you, since I got this deck, I have definitely visited the Fae realm in my dreams quite a few times. Very detailed, but the messages that come from this are phenomenal. The story, sorry, I forgot to turn that off, but the story of each inspiration in the card from Emily Carding is wonderful. The foreword, I think, was John Matthews. Yeah, the foreword was John Matthews. But I love that there's poems for each of these. Man, this really did come out pretty good for not measuring. Although I do think measuring is much better. But yeah. So, Tarot of the She. What else? The Druid Craft. Now, I've only got the small one. I want to get the big one with the big book because I do want to modify this even further down. Meaning, I want to cut all the bottom off of it. And I just, God, I hate this border. I hate the old border that it had. And I want to measure it this time around. I've really been watching a lot of Dawn Michelle and how beautiful her decks, which, I mean, it came out pretty good. This was one of my first mods ever. It came out really, really good. The green is starting to rub off a little bit because of use. So I want to go through and do it again. But I think I want to put a brown over it because I really love her, like a copper. I really love that. But I love this deck. I mean, this feels like King Arthur. You know, this feels like even like Robin Hood. And yeah, well, the Highlander also. Yeah, I love this deck. I love the feelings that come from it when I'm using it. The lush greens in it are just so beyond perfect. And I'm definitely, I mean, green is my favorite color, but because of the different color greens that we find in nature. In Michigan, I live in Michigan, and oh my gosh, there's so much greenery and trees and bushes and foliage here in Michigan. It is just the most beautiful place ever. So, yeah. So, the Druid Craft. Okay. What else am I missing? Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So, another one. This one was a surprise. I purchased this from Nancy. She was purging. And this is the first edition, I believe. It came with the little bag, but that little bag was just, I mean, just too tiny. I struggled every time. So I used my Cricut and made another bag. And now I got like, I'm not sure, something on it. Typical, right? But, so I made a bag for it. The book is so phenomenal. The writing is so phenomenal. I did not think I was going to be huge into this artwork, but I friggin' love this artwork. And this is another deck that is so synchronistic for me. I swear this is another one that I used last year for my month ahead or my year ahead spread, and where I would take and also do oracle cards each month on top of my regular monthly cards. And each one of them was so synchronistic and, I mean, right on target with other things that were happening in my life. It was just amazing. And I drew one of these again for this month. I'm not sure I'm going to do that every month. I don't think I'm going to hold myself to one every month. You know, use a different one every month or use different ones. Whatever just I feel like. But, yeah. I love this deck so much. It reads so well. It's so friggin' deep. I'm in love. Oh, and I edged it like to make it kind of look like an antiqued. So, yeah. Like a gold antique. All right. So a couple other oracles. So here's another one. Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. I love this deck. I love the book. But more than that, I love what this oracle brings to the table. It's not just your basic, what do I need to know? Or, you know, what do I need to focus on? Or what do I need to walk away from? It's not affirmations. This is about digging in deep to things that were in past lives. So there's love, identity, time frame, lesson, death, location, trauma, faith, and not only does each card have a write-up and several different, because if you look on this side, we've got for discrimination, we've got social. So depending on, with it being a round deck, depending on how it comes out, if this is up, then we focus on this. If this is up, then we focus on this. But we also do stuff with this side. And so, just to show you. All right, so we've got like the different civilizations, the time frame. And it goes from pre-Earth, which indicates a period before humans inhabited the Earth, early Stone Age, Neolithic Revolution, Age of Atlantis, early Middle Ages, early Bronze, all the way up to modern times. And it talks about in each era the things that happened in that era. And then we go with the different kinds of lessons that could have been learned, like accountability, abuse of technology, becoming more natural, forgiveness, greed, gluttony, hubris, leadership. These are all lessons that were important to learn in a previous life. Death, how you died, what you died from. Location in the world, whether it was like Africa, North America, Central or South America, a lost civilization, Mexico. I mean, it just, the whole gambit. Trauma, a certain trauma that you had in that life, maybe that you're dealing with in this life. And maybe that's why this reading came up. So it was important, you know, karma that you're working through in this life. And maybe why you have a hang up for this or that, or why you keep resurfacing or having certain patterns. I guess what I'm getting to is I think that past life work is really, or can be really, really crucial to knowing thyself and knowing some of the things that we are dealing with in this life, maybe we brought over from a previous life. So that's why I love this deck so much, because of what it can bring, you know. So there's that. I love oracle decks so much. And then there's another one, and I think this is 10. So art history for past lives. This is another one for past lives. Oh, it's kind of warped too. Yeah, look at that. But anyways, this was taking different, and I don't normally like decks that do this, but this works because of the system that she set up. This woman that created this, who was it? I don't remember offhand. Ooh, let me see if I can find it really quick. Melanie, Eva Henson, I think that's it. But anyways, so what she's done here, she was a tarot reader, and she focused on doing past life readings for people all the time. So she designed a deck that actually was centered around that. And each of the cards was, there's so many levels that you can look at in these. Maybe chronic illness, but also there can be more introspection about the actual artwork itself, about when it was created, who the author was, a little bit about his life or her life. You see what I mean? in a past life. Let's say, for instance, if you get the Nine of Swords, and they're all associated with different things too. Root energy, anxiety, sleeplessness. In a past life, the dreams card appearing in a past life spread indicates your dreams hold valuable information to you for processing the struggles of your current life. Information in your dream state is relaying events from a past life. How funny that I would turn to that, because I feel like I have had synchronicities with things like that, like past lives revealing themselves to me. It says, although the card image is unsettling, the appearance of this card can simply be a message to pay attention to clues in your dreams. An alternate interpretation is this card can also simply be pointing to generalized anxiety. If the dream interpretation doesn't resonate, this card is telling you that the bouts of anxiety that you are currently experiencing are rooted in a past life. Often as you pass that age, or the age that you were in a past life when a major traumatic event occurred, you will suffer a period of unexplained anxiety. This should pass in time. And I'll tell you, when I suffered from my anxiety, it just like came on out of the blue. It just like hit me one day where I had never had it before. I could not understand it. I went through it for a couple of years, really hard. I mean, I thought I was going to die every single friggin' day, but it did. It just came out of the blue. One moment I was fine, and the next minute it was like a panic attack. Cold sweats, beating heart, dizzy. Yeah. So then it talks about like Switzerland, England was the place, and this was the 17th to 18th century. So there might be significance in that. But beyond that, this deck also comes with, well, you can purchase it, and it's a workbook. And this workbook, you go through 21 days of understanding yourself. So you don't just do a past life reading. You go beyond that, and you like dig deeper into several different areas of that life with different spreads, like 21 different spreads. So it's like 21 different spreads that go into one past life. So it's like a major tool for digging and knowing thyself and knowing your history, maybe clearing your karma. So yeah, those were my decks. And I tell you, it was really hard, but one of the areas that I really, really love a lot is, you know, past life stuff. Now, I do want to just do an honorable mention here. I'm not sure if I even put it in here. I'm not sure if I even brought it down, which I probably didn't. Is like the Thoth deck, right? I would want to keep the Thoth as well, but it's not one that I am currently working with, so it was not like 10 right now. But another honorable mention, and I'm sorry to do this, but is the spread machine. I use this spread machine I created, which I'll show you when I show my tarot spread for November, or my tarot journal for November. But I created a spread that I'm going to be using every month to coincide with whatever my monthly card is. And it works on light work, it works on shadow work, it works on a plan of action for each month. And I set it all up, and I'm redrawing out of certain categories every month what I need to focus on with the cards that I got. And so the spread machine, I'm very much a spread person. So I love the ability to, even with whatever card I'm getting, I am drawing one of the focus cards so that I know where I should focus on each month on the card that I got, or cards that I got for the month. And then the light work around it, I draw out of those. The shadow work. And the plan of action, which is like several categories all in one. So that was my, if I could only keep 10 decks with, you know, this little honorary mention here. The spread machine I have also, I got the, I have the boxes, but I just don't have them here with me. I keep them in a bag. The Quest version and the Change version. So I like to create different spreads and stuff. So although these are not an oracle or tarot deck, I wanted to put an honorary mention that with my 10, I would like to keep these so that I can make really cool, you know, spreads. I mean, I could do it without it, but this definitely helps me. She did a fabulous job on this. So thank you for watching. I will be putting a link down below to Katey Flowers' original video. I hope to see other people doing this. I've already seen a few, and I'm going to be continuing to watch that. And thank you for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I am sending you love always. Thank you so much.